Welcome to the Blue Cafe. Due to technical difficulties, Ben, your regular host, will not be available. My name is Daniel, and I will be your host today. Now, on to today's story. Risk assessment for cheating. Advice. Here's the hypothetical. You have been riding the ride or die airline company for years now. They are like any other airline company. Their crash potential is like any other company flying the skies. No better, no worse. But one day, they announce that prices are dropping to better compete with other flight companies. You're thrilled. You get to fly at a cheaper rate. It ends like a dream come true. But a few years later, after riding with this company, they announce that in order to keep prices down, they have to cut corners. A little less work is being done on maintenance. But their crash record is still no different than any other company. You at first still take the flights. You think, hell for the price. The risk is worth it. I mean, nothing bad has happened, so why worry? But then one day, while on your flight, the plane malfunctions. It's not some near-death experience, but it does leave you shaken. Now, your job requires you to fly. You have to take to the air again. You have to choose a company to fly with. You have been using ride or die for so long, however, that you have literally thousands of dollars in points and the flights are dirt cheap. To switch would cost you exorbitant amounts of money, but they still don't have any serious crashes yet. So you book the next flight with them. But this time, the plane crashes. Not a near-death, the passengers escape with minor to severe injury. You sustain an injury, but you're still alive. Who do you book your next flight with? The company that already injured you? What if they promise to make more checks and raise the prices a little? Do you pay more to ride with promises of improving performance? Let's say you do. Should you be surprised after you pay more money that the next flight crashes and you sustain more injuries? Or do you pay the higher costs for a safer, though still risky, flight? Because no matter the company, you know they could be lying about maintenance. But at least their track records are clean so far. That's just what staying with a cheater feels like. You know they failed the maintenance. They let the plane crash already. You suffered mental and perhaps serious physical injury. You are living with the fear of flying at all again, never mind just with them. But so many of us, myself included, book another flight because we have too many miles booked up with this airline company. But does the plane have to crash and kill you or your children before you invest somewhere else? What proof would be enough to excuse and make you feel safe with that company again? If we won't do it for a company who didn't know us personally, why let someone who was in our most sacred inner circle do this to us? Just some shower thoughts. Duck. This is the best analogy I've ever heard. If people don't have interest in being faithful, then they should stay single. They like to have a cake and eat the cake. This is a big problem. Cheating is very harmful for humans unless both partners are on the same page and have the same agreement. Awesome, bro. One of the best eye-opening stories. I will use this to explain things in future and will also give credit to you. Thanks. Hands pressed together. Good analogy. That said, it is easy to spot the error in another's judgment and much harder to do so on our own. Good luck to everyone out there who has found this subreddit due to being betrayed. It definitely is easier to spot in others' lives rather than our own. I came up with this idea because I have been thinking about what giving another chance means in other contexts. It's easier to look at my situation if I play with hypotheticals. It feels like it mirrors my situation and what I have seen in terms of infidelity in my life. So do I book the next flight here or somewhere else? Or do I just get a new job altogether and never need to book a new flight ever again? Too true. Pretty apt interpretation. I wouldn't have stayed with mine if I got my favorite meal every weekend and a beach every day. Once they fail you, it doesn't matter what complimentary treatment you get. It always sits in the back of your mind. Once bitten, twice shy. Maybe people who reconcile are better at letting go than me, they have to be. The thing is, beforehand they trusted someone who did not cheat to not cheat on them. Now they are trusting someone to not cheat who has proven beyond doubt that they will cheat on them by actually doing so. Reconciliation is a delusion, much like the delusion before you found out. Most of the time, yeah, even in less intense situations, reconciliation is usually a mistake. But there are salvageable situations. Thank you. This sub is full of absolutisms and extreme perspectives, understandably so, but it does get old, at least for me, and isn't really based in any reality. People will write things like you'll never be able to trust them again, and anyone who cheats once will do it again, and cheaters are bad evil people. These statements stem from our hurt and anger, but they're bullshit. There are plenty of examples, even on these boards, of first-hand accounts refuting such statements, and yet we see them made over and over again. I'm not saying you could never trust your wayward partner, but I promise you I could have trusted mine again. And even though my ex made terrible, hurtful, disrespectful choices, that doesn't make her a bad person. At least, not necessarily. I just want to encourage people here to look beyond their pain and anguish and really try to formulate a mindset grounded in reality. Avoid making absolute statements and phrasing them as facts, especially for newcomers who are recently traumatized. Your situation may not be the same as theirs, and it's important to help people figure out what's best for them, which may, or may not, be the same as what worked for you. In this world, you have to make your own life and happiness. If you meet someone and feel a connection and it's equal trustworthiness on both sides, good on you. If not, have a good life. Anyway, I'm pretty sure everyone on this sub has learned the hard way not to place too many eggs in someone else's basket. Other people can be endlessly disappointing. I feel a responsibility to not disappoint myself. It all depends upon how valuable your mile tickets are worth. Has your experience so far been the most compelling reason to stay, or are you valuing those tickets too highly? It's up to you to decide if it's worth the risk. You have to pay more to get higher class. It's not where you sit, but if the plane can stay in flight. Are those miles worth your health or life? Choose life. Thanks. I really should. Yes, there's that too. I guess you've answered your own question then, friend. Thumbs up with medium light skin tone. Please everyone, please don't book another flight. Take it from someone who didn't crashed again. Did I read that right? Thinking face. Grinning face with tightly closed eyes. I like your shower thoughts. I might need to read this again just to remind myself though. Thank you for sharing. Thanks. Hope it helps someone else make a tough choice. That's a great analogy. Thanks. Interesting analogy. Don't forget that all planes can crash. Also don't forget that the plane you crashed with has a huge amount of responsibility to fix himself/herself. Way more than normal planes. That's of course if the plane is regretful and don't want to lose you as a passenger. Another thing is, what if you were meant to fall in order to get better? Sounds harsh or confusing, but sometimes it's true. No plane will ever give you safety after this fall. Don't forget that also. Depends on the type of cheater and the type of cheating committed, and as well to the amount of empathy and insight each broken partner possesses. If Fly or Die corrects their cost cutting and is certified as good to go by the watchdog agencies and their record improves, why not use them again? Even the very best airline in the world, using the best and most tried and true maintenance and equipment can falter. Look up the Jim Lee glider story. Full stop. Some will and some will not use them again. Not all cheaters. All cheating are the same. How do you know the certification is any good? Who's doing the certification? While any airline company can potentially crash, why not opt for one with a good track record already? Why keep investing in the one who already failed that test with you on board? Especially if they failed more than once? I thought this was an analogy of cheating. Guess I was wrong. And as I know you know, in the US it is the FAA who certifies and watches over aviation. But I don't really know that much about it at all. Not into aviation. Haven't flown since the army, but I damned sure have been cheated on. It is an analogy on cheating. Who can certify that the person you're with is safe going forward? A therapist? Doctor? Affair recovery group? You? Clearly the person taking the flight is the worst judge of credibility, when we have been easily manipulated prior and for some of us, through multiple false reconciliations. I read one story here. I think of a couple who did one of those affair recovery groups and the husband, ex-cheater, had been tapped to lead his particular group as a prime example of what to do during reconciliation. Come to find out the guy never quit cheating. So how do you know the person actually changed and has integrity now going forward? Best way to judge that is their past actions. And well, that doesn't bode so well for the cheater now, does it? You don't know, any more than if you will die within that 25-mile circle from your home while going shopping. And as for ever knowing you won't be cheated on ever, let alone repeatedly, you don't know. As far as your analogy, it is apropos to cheating, but there are many types of cheaters and cheating. Some are far more susceptible to repeat cheating, and it being useless to try reconciling, but that does not apply to all cheaters. Perhaps the issues start with picking the correct partner in the beginning and hedging our bets by learning how to properly feed and maintain our relationship garden. Even if we didn't cheat, we may well have set ourselves up for it. I bet you have noticed that even while perusing the relationship subs and having no clue as to the nature of the post, it is extremely easy to predict early in the post if it is actually concerning cheating or not. That is because we have learned to recognize the signs of cheating as the story unfolds from how they met and how quickly the warning signs begin. Good day. Just some shower thoughts. That's a mighty long shower. Long showers are the best. Agreed. I'm about to take one myself. I'll share my thoughts when I get out, lol. Can't compare dying in a plane crash to being cheated on by a man. Manage your expectations and you will be fine. I'm fully prepared to be cheated on in every relationship. Yes, it's dark, but it keeps me calm and lets me enjoy certain aspects of the relationships. Maybe not for you, but trying telling that guy who committed suicide after he found out his kids wasn't his. Or the woman dentist who hung herself when she found her husband cheated. Or how about the two young women who recently posted on her about contracting HPV from their spouse's boyfriends and turns out it turned cancerous. Or the guy in my town who murdered and decapitated his wife's lover's head in a fit of rage when he caught them in bed together. Infidelity can bring out the darkest side in people. Never forget that. I'm not denying that, but seeing that it happens to people time and time again, why don't we just stop expecting people to be faithful? Why don't we stop giving out tests to make sure your surgeon actually knows medicine? Or stop writing contracts for jobs? They could just cheat on the test. They could break the contract. We do it because we need to know that people know what they are doing or will honor agreements. Just because people can circumvent the rules at times, we put procedures in place as punishment for breaking those rules because we need them. If you invest $200,000 into a business, you need to trust that your partner won't embezzle the money. Yeah, you could always run the bios alone, but it's hard to grow a company if you can't hire help. Telling people to dump the institution of marriage leaves making other choices in your life hard and lonely. Ask single parents if raising several children was easy. The loss of income and time help is an enormous lose. So we need to trust that partners are looking out for our backs when they promised they would. Not money and time and emotional dumping into a stranger. Good point, but people often got themselves into relationships without such an understanding though. People assume the other partner are on the same page, and then society promotes casual sex, leaving people confused as to what the rules are, and punishment makes people unhappy, and people cheat on tests all the time. It's complicated. I prefer to not take a lot of risk. People who do, props to them, but know that people are not machines and they can crumble easily during pressure, unexpected things that happen in life. In the end we all die. Try to enjoy life a bit. In the end we all die. Try to enjoy life a bit. Then it should be agreed by both parties previously for it to be an open relationship. The problem comes when one of the two parts wants to enjoy life a bit without the other knowing and peeing on their trust upon a closed relationship. That, my dear sir, is lying. You should be able to take people at their word. If you say you're not going to be with anyone else, that's what you should do. I'm not in that camp that thinks if you change your mind, you should continue to honor it for life if you said it was for life. But you do have the obligation to go about changing your mind honorably. You break the contract through divorce, then go having your cake how you want it. You don't risk someone else's well-being for cake. Period. That makes you a traitor. I believe in integrity because if everyone behaves dishonorably, then what society do we have left? We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a good day or night, wherever you are.